I'll tell you a little bit of a story while Janette's coming on screen. My first experience of Janette was not a good one. Janette invited me to take part in a triathlon swimming class, and I told Janette that I was no good at swimming at all. I was awful. And she said, no, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. After about 3 laps and swallowing half the pool, she was walking along the side of the pool and said, Richard, you're swimming absolute garbage. And I said, I did tell you. But Janette wasn't going to have it. And eventually you told me to get out of the pool, Janette, because I was holding everybody else up. So I did warn you. But then I met her afterwards and I was in fear of Janette, but she's lovely. So I'm sure for those of you that have met Janette, you'll echo those thoughts. So welcome this morning, Janette, and we're gonna have a bit of a Q&A, but maybe if you'd like to give everybody a little bit of background about you and what you do.
Yeah, so thank you. I definitely have got a lot nicer since then, I hasten to add. So I've run my own fitness company for 20 years and 20 plus years. It's quite a diverse company, so we do fitness in the community, so we run our own classes, but I also do personal training, life coaching, and I'm a corporate wellness coach, so I go into businesses, and then also I'm a triathlon coach as well. And I am tough, but I apologize about that incident. I can't remember that, but definitely I have got nicer. But
good cop, bad cop, all in one.
Yeah, so I kind of do a bit of everything really: life coaching, nutrition, fitness, the whole works, because I think it all does come together quite well. I don't think really just working on fitness and then neglecting nutrition is a good idea. So for me, it's about the whole body of the whole entity.
Brilliant, excellent. So for anybody that has any questions, you've got the chat function. So if you're not familiar with Zoom, and I'm sure most of you are, at the bottom of the screen, if you drag your mouse to the bottom, you pull up the bar and you've got chat there just to the right of share screen. So don't share screen if you can help it, but I think you can anyway. And then if you can write your message in the right-hand box, I'll keep a note of who's asked the questions and then bring you on screen. If you want to come on screen, reveal yourself and have face-to-face with Janette, it'd be great to see you, and it adds to this sort of interactive nature of the conversation. So by all means, kick off, start putting your questions in, and then we can get started. But so while you're all thinking about questions that you'd like to ask, Janette, you're talking to us from your new gym, and you were saying to me before we went live that you're finding teaching clients remotely is even more effective than it is in person.
Yeah, definitely. So I've dismantled my whole dining room table and chairs and everything, and actually built kind of makeshift, but I have a spin bike, my stereo, weights, kettlebells, step, and everything like that. So we are doing an online program, and we have just under 100 people now with us on that, and that includes live workouts, nutrition, life coaching, support, and that's really going well. And then even the lives, if people can't make the lives, they can come along to the other sessions. You know, they can do them at any point. They stay on our program, and that's through Facebook. But also my one-to-one clients, I've not stopped coaching those. We're doing it through Zoom. And I honestly think it's better than in a gym, because I can see much more, and we're not distracted, and we're not having to walk from one machine to the other. So actually for the hour, I think we're getting more in, a lot more of a workout.
And it's what goes around that workout as well, that you and I go to the same place for workouts, and obviously you're a much better advert for it than I am, but and I hate to think what I'd look like if I didn't go, but anyway, I do. But for me, it's a 3-hour round trip. It's getting there, it's changing, it's doing the exercise, doing everything in reverse, and it's a good 3-hour trip. Whereas now, that same bit of exercise is an hour, and it makes sure you're giving everything into that hour.
Yeah, totally. And I think, this time is very unsettling, and it's stressful, and people are anxious, and all of the emotions, which are all quite normal, and I don't think we should fight, but I do think there are some positives that will come out of it. And I think one will be that we will do a lot more online. And I think for me personally, and I'm sure this is the same for a lot of businesses, we've always been wanting to do more online, but there's never been the time to actually do that and really put your efforts into it. And so when you're forced and your back's against the wall, actually you either crumble or you deal with it and you carry on, and you make a good deal of it. And actually I feel a little bit guilty about saying it, but I mean, I'm still feeling anxious about the situation, that goes without saying, but the actual work that I'm doing, I am loving it. I'm getting such a buzz from it. And I feel it is, the feedback that I'm getting from people is that it is helping. And the fact that they can see me when I'm doing a live, or see me if I'm doing a Zoom, then it's helping other people. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I do fitness, because I want to help and make a difference to people.
And I get that we're all treading on eggshells in regards to how we do business. We don't go on a sales front foot at the moment. It's not the right time to do that. But my advice, and I'm sure other people would echo this, is don't feel anxious about trying to instill some positivity in people, because obviously, as you say, there's an awful lot of people going through an awful lot of issues, challenges, family, business, etc., and often all of them at the same time. So any sort of positivity that you can inject into their lives, I think is a great thing, and people will hopefully build on that and take it into the rest of their day.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, the fundamental things are that we keep safe, and then nurturing our body. So if we can make sure that we get a balanced diet, we get some exercise, and that we try to get some sleep. And I know people aren't sleeping as much, but if you can try to set a routine and a little timetable for yourself, because we're creatures of habit, really. And if we can continue with that, so what I'm suggesting with my clients is that they, and particularly my athletes as well, that they have a timetable for each day, so that they still allocate when they're going to do their exercise. Because we know there's evidence to prove that if we can exercise for at least 10 minutes a day, even if it is only 10 minutes, we will feel better. We will have better endorphins around the body. We'll be able to concentrate more, and we'll be more productive and calmer. And so even if it is only 10 minutes a day doing something for you, then it's going to make you feel better.
And in terms of the exercise that people can be doing, obviously there's now restrictions on what people can do when they set foot outside the house. And people might be thinking about getting equipment, but then worrying maybe if they order things that they're not going to reach them. There's a lot of videos online about body weight. What would you suggest as someone starting out? And we've got.
Yeah, I think key is to do something that you enjoy doing. So when I coach people with life coaching, it's to be mindful of your language. And so if you're saying to yourself, I have to run, ask yourself the question, do you want to run? Because if you're forcing yourself to do something that you really don't want to do, you're not going to find pleasure in it. And if this goes on for X amount of weeks or months, you're going to stop doing it. So you want to try and to find something that gives you joy in this uncertain time. So if running isn't for you, but you want to be outside, you could do a walk run, or you could just do a fast walk, or you could take some hand weights and you could do like a power walk up a hill. There's options available. And for my triathletes that I'm coaching, I've just done a video last week on swim cords, so that we can keep going with the swim muscles, the lats and triceps. But some of them haven't got swim cords, and then they've looked online and they're not going to come until late May. So one yesterday just used a pair of tights, and that's possible, so it's about really improvising. And we did an upper body 7 o'clock workout this morning, and people were using tins of beans, and that's fine too. You don't have to have all the kit. I mean, in an ideal world, I'd love to have a cross trainer here, and I'd love to have a treadmill. I haven't, and we can just make do. There's enough things that we can do. And I think that's why firstly, find what you want to do and something that brings you joy. And then secondly, if you have got a contact, you know, it doesn't have to be me, but there's so many people out there that are doing online workouts. Try and stick to somebody you know and somebody you trust, because you'll be used to their style of teaching as well. And I think that will bring you some joy as well. And I think rather than maybe go on to like a celebrity trainers type program, and I'm not dissing them, they're great, but
Poor Joe.
sometimes we want familiarity. Yeah,
I understand. One of the members, B4 members, is telling me they're doing dry canoeing in their garden. I'm not quite sure how they're doing that, but
okay.
I don't know. I'm imagining some sort of wet slope, and I don't know how they're digging in. But anyway, we'll all maybe have some thought. Right, Sean, you've got a question if you want to come in on screen. There she is.
Hello, Sean.
You're on mute, Sean. There you go.
There we go. Got it. Hi. So I was wondering if you had any tips for keeping moving little bits throughout the day, because obviously just the amount of walking that I'm doing, and I suspect everyone is doing, is dramatically reduced, because we're not kind of walking from the car to the office and from the office to the tea break room or whatever. I feel like I'm sitting down a lot more than I would normally.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I would encourage you, every time you go to maybe to the kitchen and you put the kettle on, that maybe you could set a little challenge. So you could say, I'm going to do 10 squats. And so if you can, whatever you repeatedly do throughout the day, if you can associate it with an exercise. I have nearly all of my clients, when they brush their teeth, I get them to stand on one leg, so that they're using their core and they're working their proprioceptors. So that's what I would try to do, because even when we're in the normal world, reality is that some people just go to the gym and they do an hour's workout, but actually they're not that active throughout the rest of the day. So if we can be more active throughout the day, then actually we're going to probably be fitter than maybe we were, or definitely fitter than the people that maybe just do 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day, and then sit for the rest of the time. So yeah, that's what I would do. And if, for instance, you like, I don't know if the soaps are still on, but say, for instance, Coronation Street, and Ken Barlow came on. Every time Ken Barlow comes on telly, you get down on the floor and you hold a plank. You could make it more of a fun thing. And if you are living there with other people, that you could do it as a family thing as well. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Hope that helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Is Ken Barlow still with us, Janette?
I don't know.
Might end up getting away with doing nothing on that one. But I know what you're saying. You mentioned nutrition earlier, and obviously the importance of tying that in with exercise. Obviously now, with limitations on how we can go out, is maybe a limitation that we can use to our advantage in not sneaking out for that bar of chocolate or a couple of beers or whatever it is. So using now as an opportunity to break some habits.
Yeah, I think again, don't put yourself under pressure. I know this is the second week of lockdown, but it's kind of the third week. We're into the third week of the whole situation. And I definitely this week feel a lot calmer, and I am definitely spending a bit more time in the kitchen, cooking better. The first week I was just working crazy hours and probably just, grabbing biscuits here and there. And that's not my norm. So I think don't beat yourself up if you've got a couple of weeks where you're not eating fantastically. But then thereafter, I still think, ideally, if you can have a plan of your ideal meals that you're going to have for the week when you go to the shops. Now, I know some things are not in the shops, but a lot more is coming in now. So it's going to help you stay on track, not buy excessive. And then also, you're not going to waste so much food as well, because I think in the first week when everybody was panic buying, they announced on the news that there was so much thrown away, and that's such a waste. So I think if you go with an idea of the type of food that you want and the recipes and the menus that you're going to have, then I think that's easier to stick to. And then just really try and make sure that you eat fruit and veg, And remember that you can, you know, some of the things you can freeze. You don't have to eat them straight away. So it's about making sensible choices, but not putting yourself under pressure with it. And we know that if we eat healthier and we eat some colour on our plates, then we always feel better. We don't feel better by eating chocolate, crisps, biscuits. It's a short-lived better feeling. It's a short-lived, you know.
Yeah.
So again, it's about balance, I think.
And I mean, you're saying about the exercise, doing stuff you enjoy, and you know, we look at the times that we all commute to work. I mean, everybody on this particular session will have differing journeys to work. Some people might work from home anyway, so it's no different for them. But for many people, they're buying a couple of hours a day now that they're not having to commute into work. So using that time for food prep. But I suppose the danger is of that when things do revert to normal, they go back to that original routine. How they can take this learning period of preparing into the new life when they do have to do that commuting again.
Yeah, and I think if that's why I think it's important that you find joy, because then you will want to take that into your new world as well. And there are some things in the, I'm saying old and new world, but you know what I mean. And I think there's some things in the old world that we had that actually now you're allowed to sit back that maybe you don't want to go back to. There are certain things. I'm starting to think like that, and with some people or some companies that maybe haven't treated you brilliantly in this, then, you know, do you want to go back there? And it's just, there's lots of, it enables you to have some time, I think, to you've got a chance again to think about the life you want after this, and it might not be the life you had. And I know people's situation is different, everyone, you know, and I'm definitely, as a self-employed person, I'm definitely not earning what I would like, but that's not key either to me. I'm actually really enjoying what I'm doing. And I think, so hopefully we get some positives out of it that way. And so if you enjoy cooking, and if you enjoy maybe batch cooking, that might be something you take into your new world.
Excellent. Maybe we should call it BC and AC.
Yeah.
Rather new world and old world. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody does have any questions, we got we've got about 10 minutes left. I know when we were talking beforehand, Janette, you said you had a few tips that you wanted to get across. Sort of did you say you had about a list of 10 things you wanted to go through?
Yeah. So with lifestyle, really, one of my tips to keep some positivity and to deal with the anxiety. And I think definitely don't beat yourself up if at times you have times of real stress or anxiousness or panic. Those feelings, I think, to try to actually switch those off is that's not going to be helpful. I think that the reality is that we are going to feel these feelings, and there is uncertainty, but it's about giving yourself some space to feel them at a certain time. So what works well with my life coaching clients is if they're just being consumed by thoughts or negative thoughts, that we do two things. One is that we have a time where we allocate. So it might be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 till 3:15, and that's your what we call worry time. And that's when you really try, you deal with everything that's on your mind. So that when you're doing other things, so if you're working or if you're doing an exercise class, if those thoughts come into your head, you let them go and you think, okay, I'll deal with that when it's my worry time. Because otherwise it's just going to constantly be swarming your head and consuming you. And then the other thing that's really useful is we have what we call an inner critic on one shoulder and an inner coach on the other. And the inner critic is the one right now that's saying, this is the worst situation you're ever going to be in, and everything's very negative and powerful. And the inner coach is kind of what I'm trying to be, but you can do that yourself. And that inner coach can actually answer. So if this is saying, this is awful, you're just going to end up really fat and really unfit, and you're going to have no business at the end of it. This inner coach can then be saying, well, actually, what's the proof? Where's the proof? Why am I'm exercising more than I've ever exercised. I'm eating really well. Actually, my business is going okay. I'm in control. So we're balancing it out. And so actually giving a real answer is quite powerful. And then just the usual things, like try not to be watching the news constantly throughout the day. Try to not be on social media as much, limit the time that you're on that. Be kind to yourself, do something for you. And another thing that we've done with families is we've done a gratitude jar or a joy jar. You could do either, but each family member is putting something into that jar at the end of the day. And so either what they're grateful for of what they've had that day, or something that's brought joy to them. And at the end of the week, they can pull them all out, and if there's 2 of you in your family, you've got 14 things then to pull out, and you actually think, well, actually, I did find joy in that week. So that's quite powerful.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Anybody else got any tips that they want to share in the last few minutes, that things that they're doing that are working for them? Please do so. But anything else you want to add, Janette, before we sign off?
Really, just and I honestly do mean this, if people want to join our online, that's fantastic. If they want to be coached, fantastic. But if anyone just needs somebody to feel, maybe to hold their hand a little bit, or just to listen to them, then I am here. And I genuinely mean that anybody can contact me by email, text, by whatever means that they want to, social media. I don't want anybody to feel that they're alone out there. And yes, it is a business that I run, but it's a fitness business and a health business. And so that's body, mind, soul. And as cliche as that sounds, that is because I care. And that's what I want to get across to people, that you're not alone right now.
That's brilliant. I mean, we'll share the video later with everybody. And if you're happy, I presume you are, to share all your contact details as well. But just
yeah, definitely.
A quick question for me. If someone's got a fix, they might like swimming, might like something that they just cannot do at the moment. I should imagine that's going to be, if you're depriving someone of something they're addicted to in many ways.
Yeah.
What would you say is a good coping mechanism for that? I mean, they can't swim in the bath, obviously. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a triathlete and I'm a swimmer, and predominantly a swimmer. So, I would swim 5-6 times a week. So I actually went into panic mode when we first got told we're on lockdown. So for me, I turned it around, and I'm making sure that I work the muscles that I need in swimming. And this isn't for everybody, but I've set myself a goal so that I know what time I can do right now when I train. When I go back in the pool, I want to go back and make sure that I hit those same times. So by working those particular muscles, doing swim core work, doing upper body work, I'm making myself accountable because I've set a challenge, and that works for me. But yeah, it is really difficult. I have one client who her son is a international Welsh swimmer, and yeah, it's hard. That's what they've always known. And it's okay, I think, to say, right, I'm not even going to do any training. I'm just going to stop for a couple of weeks, because after a couple of weeks, actually, you do want to do it again, because that's your norm.
At the elite level, if you've got one athlete that's got a pool and one that hasn't, is it going to make a huge amount of difference over the next 2 months as to their performances when they meet up again in the pool?
Yeah, I think with swimming more so, because it's about the feel of the water. But the whole character of an athlete is that you are resilient and you can fight adversity and you have a mental strength. So this is being challenged right now, and there will be a lot of athletes, age groupers, even probably elite, that will actually give up at this point. But for me, it's actually, I love a challenge, and I mean, I wouldn't have chosen this particular challenge, but at the end of the day, I want to rise to it and beat it. So for me, it's about actually going back and being fitter, being stronger, and being a better athlete.
It'll be interesting to see in the Olympics next year the results as to how those that were going to perform this year perform against those that maybe were injured, and see this as a great opportunity to actually take part now. So it'll be interesting to see how those results pan out.
Yeah, and I mean, massively, they would have been on a training cycle for a 4-year block, and now they're having to pull back, but they've got to keep their fitness up. It is hard. Their bodies and their minds are going to be fighting it right now. But I think the advice that I've seen from some of the international coaches is that actually just, because the other thing is that our immune system would be challenged because we're dealing with the anxiety. So you've got to step back a little bit and not want to push your body to the absolute max for a while. And then when it settles down, then we can start pushing again.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, really appreciate your time, Janette. And as I say, we'll circulate your details to everybody.
Thank you.
Today. And if we can just go on to the B4 website screens, please, Rob, just so you can keep up to date with latest developments in the business community. We've got our business support pages on the website there. If you click on the red block, and then we've got the COVID-19 updates daily from government. So that's on the pink box. And then we have, so B4 Live, we've got a dedicated page for B4 Live at the top of the screen. So we've got Janette's talk there. Talk's coming up tomorrow. So we've got Chris tomorrow, Joe on Friday, and Phil next week. We're actually now booked up until, I think, the 14th. Actually, we've got everybody booked in. For those that you miss, if you can go again, just go up the screen again, please, Rob. You've got the register here boxes, which I didn't say, which I'm sure most of you went through today. And so you can register on Eventbrite, and then you'll get the link through. And any talks that you've missed, you want to catch up on, again, they're available on the site. So they're all building up. Rob turns those videos around very quickly, so Janette's will be available later today. Just a couple of other bits and pieces to tell you about. We've got the B4 90-day free membership, so there's no obligation, no credit card details or anything. Take advantage of the benefits of digital B4, and you can see more on the website. So go to the top of the website, and there's the box there. You can sign up for 90 days. Then we've got just a quick announcement for Oxfordshire Community Foundation. They've got a community resilience fund. They're launching that today, and they've got a webinar from 2 to 2:45 today. So you can you can join that meeting on Zoom. Maybe if Lorna or Rob could just post that link to everybody so that they can join. I don't think you can grab that off the screen. So that'd be good. And then we've got tomorrow, we've got Chris Jones, 10 things to do for your event when the coronavirus epidemic has passed. Friday, we've got Joe Bentley, psychological fitness and business. And then a little bit of fun. This morning, I sent out a note to our B4 members to have a speed network on Friday, 5 to 5:30. So 1 minute each, just to say what challenges you're facing in your business. And then in this time of not wanting to sell, let's create a period in which you can do a little bit of a pitch for your business, either to take advantage of that offer now or after all of this is passed. So a bit of fun on Friday, either join to watch or join to take part. We've got about 10 slots left. So Janette, if you fancy one, please book in for your minute. Thank you again, Janette. Really good to see you. Good luck with the classes, and hopefully see you soon.